They say do not make decisions when you are emotional. This could make or break you. Welcome to St. Hosea Hermitage. This is your Kuya Mel, continuing with our pastoral planning workshop with a Jungian twist. Content in this video helps introduce you to our topic on this session this week. It is important that as you watch this video, you have scheduled your appointment with me to clarify various concepts mentioned in earlier sessions. It is also important that you have done all the readings and exercises asked of you to accomplish for better learning experience. When making or participating in doing a plan or corporate, organizational, or even pastoral plan, what we know, what is in our conscious mind, also participates collectively with those participating in the planning process. Whatever in each individual's unconscious, whether personal or collective, whatever is in the shadow could get in the way or influence the planning process. Making decisions when one is emotional could be detrimental to the organization. The mind, when you are emotional, is unstable. Wait till there is a balance between emotions and logic. When in your consciousness, the unconscious has been integrated. To understand what I am saying, let's demonstrate this. Our encounter with our own shadow when we were a child. I am not sure if you can still remember that time, but watch this video that became viral.
Who's your shadow? Gigi. Wait, calm down. Stop. Come here.
The first time a child becomes aware of the shadow, it could be petrifying. Understanding what the shadow is could take away the fear. Our dark past, the traits of ourselves that we do not like, desires we try to suppress, what we do not wish to become, these are our shadows. Jung stated, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. If an inferiority is conscious, one always has a chance to correct it. But if it is repressed and isolated from consciousness, it never gets corrected and is liable to burst forth suddenly in a moment of unawareness. At all counts, it forms an unconscious snag, thwarting our most well-meant intention. To Carl Jung, there are two types of shadow. The personal shadow, the unknown dark side of our personality, and the collective shadow, the unknown dark side of society. Jung describes a personal shadow as the thing a person has no wish to be. It represents unknown or little-known attributes or qualities of the ego. Remember the ego? I mentioned of the ego when I presented the map of the psyche in my earlier session. It is the center of our conscious mind. Ego in Latin is the I in English, ako in Filipino, or yo in Spanish. And a bigger part of this ego is presented to the world by the mask we wear, which Jung called the persona. But the ego is not the totality of the self. Because underbelly of the ego is the influence of the unconscious, the shadow, specifically the shadow. The shadow is the sum of all the unpleasant qualities we would like to hide from ourselves because these qualities are undesirable. All of us possess a shadow but somehow refuse to acknowledge its presence. It is what we perceive to be weak and evil. The shadow is manifested in stressful situations when gripped with anxiety. One could burst when triggered, express in rage, or other expression of heightened emotions. For example, I might react with a hostile remark when triggered during even just a friendly conversation. Also, when we do not want to assimilate what we usually despise, and so we project it to others. Like, I grew up being always joked around, being teased of my effeminate manners, that I projected my displeasure by repressing it and expressing my abhorrence to anything that has femininity in it. I even had a prejudice against the color pink, even a prejudice against gays or homosexuality, anything that projects femininity. The shadow is something we may not be aware of, but it is possible to be conscious of the shadow. And in this case, the conscious mind can be able to recognize it, and when it recognizes the shadow, it has the capacity to command it or control it. But many people refuse to recognize their personal shadow so that their ego is not aware of it. And thus, if the ego is not aware of it, it cannot control it. Under this condition, the shadow is autonomous and may express itself in inexplicable mood and possible cruelty. It is therefore important to be aware of the shadow and how it is being projected. Although the shadow is usually perceived as negative, it can also be positive, like good qualities that may have been repressed due to culture or prevailing expectations. Like a child who grew up forbidden by his elders from engaging in conversations among adults, they may develop that aversion to be outspoken, and therefore that self-confidence could be thwarted. But deep within the child is that assertiveness, initiatives, and creativity which is awaiting to be tapped. The shadow may also be consisted of aspects arising from the source outside of the individual's personal life. This is what Jung calls the collective shadow, the dark side or the unknown or little known realm of a society. It contains of that which opposes our shared and collective values. The collective shadow is found in the projection of darkness and inferiority, in violence and oppression, in refusal to recognize current sufferings, and in a denial of owning responsibility to current predicaments, seen brutally in wars, massacres, and genocides, the use of religion to marginalize indigenous and minorities, resulting to cultural genocides, extinction of languages and cultures. The shadow, individual or collective, has a pervasive influence in social life. The collective shadow manifests outside in society by the prevalence of injustices, atrocities, persecution, suffering, sickness, poverty, crimes, and the death of culture and traditions. The personal shadow manifests itself by the hatred to oneself, one's heritage, one's culture, a feeling of shame of one's identity, depression, and sometimes a desire for revenge. The collective shadow is often labeled evil, and to some extent, personal shadow could be labeled as sin. To Jung, the response to evil is self-knowledge and a quest for wholeness, which includes the assimilation of the shadow into the consciousness. To Jung, an individual must know relentlessly how much good he can do and what crimes he is capable of. If there is an issue in a particular society, it can be called a shadow issue. If there is evidence of denial, projection, and a lack of taking individual and collective responsibility, such as blaming others for their problems. Taking responsibility, morally, politically, and spiritually, is crucial. Here, we face with courage in looking the darkness of our shadow to free ourselves from its pangs, To pastors and ministers, this is a task we must accomplish. We must take the courage to bear the heavy yoke of the darkness to be able to free others, to free even our children or our future children from having to carry it for us, to save our children from the cycle of historical sufferings in case if we will not do anything to prevent wars, genocide, holocaust, or oppressions. The effect of this that happened in the past continues to linger to the present. Denial, often connected with a wish to put the past behind, seems to be the most pervasive reaction. There were many attempts to deal with painful past through symbolic means, like public apologies for supporting atrocities in the past, repentance, rituals such as memorials and pilgrimages. But most important in dealing with the past is a conscious integration of the shadow. Rituals are important for healing, for wholeness to take place, but to be complete, those outrages, those pains, these pains have to be voiced and heard. Truth-telling is one way to scaffold with a difficult past. Personal shadow contributed to the collective shadow. It is the bridge to the collective shadow, and therefore, it is important to deal with one's inner conflict so that it does not fall into the collective shadow unconsciously. If we practice mindfulness, we will know how to look deeply into the nature of war, oppression, and poverty, and with our insight, wake people up, so that together we can avoid repeating the same horrors again and again. The war is in us, but it is also in everyone. Everything is ready to explode, and we are all co-responsible. What must be done? First, acknowledge our own personal shadow by doing shadow work. Second, do not become passive victims of the shadow. Third, rescue the good qualities that lie dormant. Fourth, be consciously aware of collective shadow. And fifth, take responsibility. Tell the truth.